This computer. Shalom, everybody. Normally, in normal years, after the Chagim, we're all overwhelmed by the light and the festivity, taking down the sukkah, starting the new year. And here, Hashem didn't even wait like a second. The Hoshana Rabbah is normally the conclusion. Hoshana, save us after 51 days from Rosh Chodesh Elul into Hoshana Rabbah. It's the finalization, like we say, pit katava, of giving out the Gzar Din to every Jew. The actual decision in heaven is given out on Hoshana Rabbah, right? That's Hoshana Rabbah. And then also, Simchat Torah is still a chance to be able to continue. You still have like a last chance if you do tshuva, whatever, but through Simcha. Rabbi Nachman says, for example, on the davening of the night of Simchat Torah, after we do the Shema of the Arvit prayer, you have Ve'emuna, Emet Ve'emuna. At that point, the person's parnasa for the whole year is determined, okay? And here, Hashem didn't wait. On Simchat Torah in Eretz Yisrael already, boom, war, pogrom, Jews killed. Over 800 Jews are killed, missing. We haven't seen this like from the time of the Holocaust. There were tiny things here and there, crazy things, tiny, but that this magnitude. Here in Eretz Yisrael, everybody's upside down. Everybody's sad. I just went into a laundromat to bring my talit from the Chagim and my bekeshe, and he said, I'm lacking my help, so I can't fix a little item that has to be fixed. He said, no one wants to come into work, they're all sad. That's what he told me. The guy in the laundromat, they're all sad people. No one wants to work. It's true, the streets are sad. There are gatherings for davening, they're saying Tehillim and everything. What in the world? What in the world? What in the world is going on? What is Hashem trying to tell us? So there's many rabbis now giving classes, giving possible explanations as what's going on. The most common, Hashem wants us to wake up. That's obvious. Hashem wants us to wake up, to do tshuva, and Mashiach is on his way. Okay, that's... But the thing is, what am I supposed to do? Plus, I'm so broken. I'm so broken. When you see the media is terrible. You see the little Jewish kids in Gaza kidnapped, and they're poking at them, or they put them in chicken coops, and pictures of the dead. And the most painful is the parents crying. The parents who don't know where their kids are, they just want to know what's happened, if the child is alive, dead, if he's taken. It hurts. It hurts like crazy when you feel the Jewish pain. This is how we're connected. I have no idea who the person is who lives in Ofakim. He's not even religious, no Shomer Shabbat, and I feel the pain. What in the world? It's not like, oh, we have Rahmanut when you see, the starving in Africa or droughts or this. You see it on TV, okay, it passes. But here you feel the pain. It's crazy. You feel it, okay? So the question is, that's the Q&A here. How can I be happy at a time that Am Yisrael, the nation, is in a sad mode and a mourning mode? You might think, so don't be happy. Don't be happy. If I'm sad, they win. Rav Nosson writes, the Goyim, their main intent in exile is to get us to be sad, period. The whole idea of suffering and everything. When you see those Holocaust videos, what's the normal attitude? You feel sad. That's why it's not good to do these things. The Satmar Rebbe, by the way, he was very against people who would visit Auschwitz. Most people say, no, go to Auschwitz. It gives you a boost and everything. But sometimes the damage of depression and sadness is greater than the benefit. You have to weigh carefully. And I'm not coming to say yes and no to anything of this, but you have to weigh carefully when you do things. If the damage caused in your simcha is so severe, so is it worth it? Is it really worth it? That's a big question. When we're mourning and everything, if now I get sad and I'm out of it, now because I'm sad, I don't say brachot properly anymore. I don't want to learn Torah. You can't serve Hashem if you're not happy. You can't. He said, Rabbi Nachman, he was pretty emphatically clear. Mitzvah gedola liot besimcha tamid. It's a big mitzvah to always be happy because you can't lift your finger. You can't lift your finger. If everyone's heavy and down, they won. The Yetzer Hara won. The Yetzer Hara, Rabbi Nachman teaches clearly. The main exile is atzvut, is sadness and depression. What greater way to get Jewish people to be sad when they see dead bodies and YouTube videos and TikTok and Instagram, and you're seeing all these things? What greater way to be sad? No, but I have to be part of my Jewish nation. It's not that. It's the inner Yetzer Hara of wanting depressing news to make you more down. Ridiculous. And they're doing a good job. So, like I said, many Rabbanim are going on saying this and that. We here are going to give a BRESLOV perspective of what's happening. Also, people have questioned, how could Hashem do this? Where were the Israeli soldiers? How could they not have known? There's tons of questions we're having, right? And we're going nuts. Like, what's happening here? What's happening here? So let us give a perspective from Rabbi Nachman's teachings of what's happening here. Number one, this took place on Simchat Torah. Okay, already you have the hint. Simchat Torah is a day, one of the highest days of the year, that we are supposed to be happy. In Rabbi Nachman's wisdom, Sichot Haran, Rabbi Nachman a few times asked Rav Nosson, were you happy on Simchat Torah? Because he was saying about his own happiness, that there was one Simchat Torah, Rabbi Nachman was so happy that he was dancing alone, even by himself in the room. And he took it to his credit that he was so happy that he even danced alone in his room. And Rav Nosson writes a few places there in Sichot Haran and in the book Tzaddik Chaim Moharan that, thank God, many times in the year, I was able to remind myself of the true simcha I had of being a Jew. Because there's no greater joy than experiencing and appreciating your Yiddishkeit. You hear that? Rav Nosson says that quite clearly also, that the greatest simcha in the world is that I'm a Jew, that I have meaning and value and worth that's eternal. The tefillin I put on, it's not a one-time thing and that's it. Oh, it was like 20 years ago I put on tefillin. It stays with you eternally because it's meant for the eternal picture, man. It's for the whole picture. Every mitzvah you do, you have every reason in the world to be happy because it's an eternal connection. No sin's going to come and erase it. No bad deed is going to come and take it away, especially now when you get into tzaddikim, the concept of tzaddikim, you're close to tzaddikim. Everything you do, your tefillin is enhanced by 1,000,000 now. Your Shabbat, your Zmirot, your Tzedakah, everything you do is not like now passive at one level. That's also big. At the lowest Jew in the world doing a mitzvah, it's going to stand by him. But there's levels, and it's very much multiplied when tzaddikim come in the picture in your life, and the tzaddikim teach you of the value, the deep value of what you're going through, and the preciousness. You have everything to be happy about. So going back, Rav Nosson, he praised himself that he was so happy on that Simchat Torah, and he would bring himself to be happy. Now look what happened. We in Yerushalayim, we do Simchat Torah, Shmini Atzeret on the same day in Eretz Yisrael. So in Yerushalayim, Shabbat morning, we're dancing. We had an early minyan nets in the BRESLOV synagogue here in Mea Shearim. While we're dancing, we were dancing so loud we didn't even hear the sirens go off. Like 4 missiles went over Yerushalayim, and we're dancing. We couldn't hear the sirens because we're so into the dancing. Okay, the Iron Dome, the Kippat Barzel blew them up, but we were told afterwards there were missiles, so we started getting, whoa. And then afternoon, we found out more details that they're calling in people. People got on Shabbat notifications, come to do Miluim. Miluim are the people on the reserve to come to the army. There's a danger. It's war. People are being killed. We only found out in the afternoon. Okay. Look what happened. The main attack, it's just crazy. Look how Hashem, on that Shabbat morning, there was a big gathering, about 3,000 youths, teenagers from the age of 18 to 30. There was some festival, obviously secular, because it's on Shabbat. They're playing music. They were smoking acid, smoking drugs. And these are youths looking for joy. Because what do you do at a festival? You're trying to be happy. These people, for whatever reason, could not find joy in Torah, whether they were born not religious. So therefore, they're called Tinok Shenishba, and therefore you can't blame them that they don't know about the simcha of being a Jew, number one. Or they were children from religious families who fell off because the attitude they had in their education was do this, keep Shabbat, and everything was just like strict, and there was no simcha in the Yiddishkeit, so they went elsewhere. You see videos, I mean, I saw a picture, them dancing while the missiles are being shot, and they're on drugs, and they're happy and everything, but it's not true happiness. And everything was disrupted, okay? What happens? Children were taken by Chevy, okay? Another hint. Parshat Kitavo. Parshat Kitavo, the 98 curses. Of them it says, and your sons and daughters will be taken captive. And it says there, in the middle of the curses, why is this coming to you? Tachat asher lo avadat Hashem Elokecha besimcha uvtuv levav. You know why these things are going to come to punish you? Not because you're not keeping Shabbat or because you're not serving Hashem and doing mitzvot, because you're not serving Hashem besimcha. The pasuk says that. Tachat asher lo avadat Hashem Elokecha besimcha. Because you're not serving Hashem in joy. And then the punishment, children being taken out. That's the worst. We're all shaken. The biggest thing killing us are the Jewish girls. Jewish girls. Sorry. The Jewish girls taken hostage, being raped and then killed, and Jewish children. It's the biggest pain. But the Torah says clearly, why is this happening? Because you're not serving Hashem b'simcha. It's a wake-up call on joy. It took place on Simchat Torah. The big attack was that concert of 3,000 youths looking for joy. Okay? The punishment of hostages. And it says, because you didn't serve Hashem b'simcha. So it's pretty obvious from a Rabbi Nachman perspective, from a BRESLOV perspective, that the main wake-up call here is Simcha. Hashem didn't wait a day after Simchat Torah for this to happen. On Simchat Torah, we're supposed to be happy, and boom, we get knocked off. Why? And then, so you think, oh, so maybe we're supposed to be sad now. Oh, you have to be worried now. Is that the attitude? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. It seems, based on Rabbi Nachman teaches, that when these things happen, you got to put in an extra boost of simcha. You got to work to it. There's a story I've told many times. You probably heard about it, of a mother and daughter. I really would like to verify this story from the lady who told me this story 6-7 years ago. There was a mother and daughter who went through Auschwitz and all the camps and the Holocaust together. From beginning to end, they survived. And people were shocked. Number one, they weren't separated. And number two, they both survived. And they asked the lady, she was a religious lady, they asked her, what happened? How did this happen? She said she was nonstop laughing. She was cracking up in the camps, and the Nazis were a bit scared to deal with her. They kept her alone. They didn't touch her. She was laughing and laughing. So they asked them, why were you laughing? People are being killed in front of you, the gas chambers, and being shot at and everything, and the conditions, and it's Gehinnom. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? So she said, because it was so obvious to me that they're going to pay the price. Such evil can't go unnoticed. Such evil, they're going to pay for it. So too, throughout history, whenever there's pogroms, whenever there's acts against humanity, against Am Yisrael, we can laugh. We have the last laugh. Vatischak Leom Acharon. We have the last laugh because we know in the end they're going to pay for it. So on this, Rav Nosson writes something super duper powerful in the Likutey Halachot, Birkat Hoda'ah Halachavav, in this amazing discourse on the laws of giving thanks to Hashem. He says the greatest weapon to bypass the sadness of exile, the sadness of suffering and pain, what we're going through, which is on a clear level now, is you have to connect your vision to the ultimate future, the ultimate end. In the end, Hashem will have his way. In the end, evil will be punished and eradicated and destroyed, and the good will come out. And the Jewish people who were killed and this and all types of crazy things, we have what's called Tchiyat HaMetim. A Jew, a secular Jew, didn't keep Shabbat, but was killed on Shabbat because he's Jewish. That's called dying on Kiddush Hashem, which is number one. He didn't keep Shabbat, do anything, but he died on Kiddush Hashem because of the Jew. He's going to get credited big time, okay? Such a person obviously has what's called Tchiat HaMetim. By us Jews, it doesn't end at death. Death is the preparation stage for stage 2, which is like, it's a joke. Death by Judaism is like the cholent on the crock pot, on the pressure on the plata for Shabbat. You put on Friday the chamim, the cholent, the dafina on the metal blech, whatever, and it stays overnight and it's ready to eat Shabbat morning. So too, when a Jew is buried, in a way it's like hatmana. It's like on standby, waiting to come out for Tchiat HaMetim. Every Jew buried 100 years ago, today, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000, it's on standby to come out. That's what Judaism is about. It doesn't end. It's not like, oh, it was a sad story, I had a sad life, and that's it. Everything has a meaning. Everything has a purpose. You have a reward for every detail. Every tiny thing has a value. Every tiny thing has a value, and it's recorded. And B'ezrat Hashem, there's a payback, but we're waiting and waiting. Huh? That's the Jewish trait, savlanut, patience, and it comes in the end. So going back, Rav Nosson says, he asks, how could you be happy when all you see is suffering and darkness and galut? Is if you connect your vision to the future. He says, the holy name connected to what's called the infinite light, the highest levels, is the name Ekyeh. Hashem has many holy names. One name is called Ekyeh, which means I am going to be. On a practical level, what this means for every Jew is that I'm looking always to the future. I'm now in the present, but I connect my present with the future. That's the only way a Jew can function normally and live today. If not, they go nuts. If you live just in the present, you go nuts with what's happening, and your whole life is the present moment and this world, you will go crazy. What's happening now is totally illogical. It's totally irrational. Totally irrational. And if you try to live in the present and you have to try to find ways to accept what's happening, if there's no emunah, which means connecting to the future, which means that in the end things are going to work out, it's going to be good, you go nuts. The secret of Nosson says on how a Jew can survive is that he's always looking to the future. Okay, that famous story of the Mojitzer Rebbe's Chazan, who wrote the famous song, Ani Ma'amin, Ani Ma'amin. He wrote it while on the train tracks to Auschwitz. Okay, everybody was crammed, packed. There was no toilets, so they're all making in their pants. There's no water, there's no food, there's stuff, they can't breathe, people are passing out and everything. And everyone is just in panic mode. And all of a sudden he creates this nigun, Ani Ma'amin, and everyone just quiets and sings together. And like for that moment in time, they disappeared. Okay, and they were in a bliss of connected to a different world. How is that? Is that we can connect to the future world, the future, which is totally good, which is only sameach, and in that enlighten it into the present. That's how you can survive in the present. Now, that's obviously an extreme case of the concentration camps and Modzitz, etc. But in you as a Jew, where you have to continue living, you have to go shopping again, you have to go to work, you have to get up in the morning. How can you be happy now of everything crashing on you? Is like this. If you connect to the future, you always look at your life as a reel in a 6,000-year film. 6,000 years from creation until now. Your 120 years, 100 years, 90 years, 80 years, whatever, is just a little piece in this giant film of 6,000 years. You look at your piece of the reel, but in picture of the whole picture, and in the end, it's going to work out. There's going to be a Mashiach. There's going to be a Tchiat HaMetim. There's going to be good stuff. So you can handle it. You can take it in and say, I'm in. I'm holding on because there's something good on the way. There's something good on the way. A Jew doesn't have emunah, can't do this. The whole thing is having emunah that this moment is connected to the future. What I do now has repercussions for my future. Doing good has a value. Being sad and weighed down and depressed from what's happening, it won't get me that far. So Rav Nosson's advice, how can I be happy? First of all, yes, you should be happy. You shouldn't justify everyone's mourning, everyone's sad, so I should also be sad and mourning. There's no mitzvah in being sad and mourning because you're going to lose out. The klalot again, the curses of Parshat Kitavo kam tachat asher lo abadat Hashem Elokecha b'simcha, because you didn't serve Hashem with joy. Hashem wants your joy. Okay, He wants your joy, and yet is doing everything to make you feel down and heavy, and to justify it. No, this, that, I have to feel part of the Jewish nation. No, 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 no. This is a test. You have to work on being b'simcha always. If not, you can't live. You can't breathe. You won't get out of bed. You won't put on your tefillin in the morning. You won't do mitzvahs. Nothing. If you're sad. If you're sad, you won't do anything. So the idea here is to have to work for extra simcha. They had Saturday night, when we found out, what happened and everything, so many synagogues canceled what's called hakafot shniyot. The custom is, based on the Arizal, that after Simchat Torah here in Eretz Yisrael, after Simchat Torah in the diaspora, we do another set of dancing with the Sefer Torah, and it's very big because you're allowed to play music. It's after Yom Tov already. So most synagogues canceled it because of what happened. They figured, number one, who's going to come? Number two, the nation is in a state of mourning. But for example, in the BRESLOV shul, they decided to do the dancing without music, but to do the dancing. And why? Because Rabbi Nachman teaches in lesson number 10, Likutey Moharan, that a way to mitigate harsh judgments is specifically through dancing and hand clapping and being happy. Yes, to be happy. That's the key here. The pasuk says, we said this many, many times, Ki besimcha tetzeu. We're going to get out of galut, not out of worry and panic. And oh my God, Hashem, help me to come back. We're being destroyed. Go get my God. We're finished. No. That's not the attitude. We're going to come out of this galut with joy. Not, okay, once it happens, then there will be joy. No. Prerequisite for bringing Mashiach is you have to work on being besimcha. That's the key. That's what's going to get you out and get the world out, is I have to be positive. I have to be besimcha. And the world is depending on me. You hear that? You have to feel that you make a difference in this area, that I have to work on being besimcha. I got to work on it. I can't get sucked into all the videos, all the news, all the sad things and the tragedies and what's going to be. I have to get out of this. This is a test, because the Yetzer Hara wants one thing. They want one thing. The Arabs, the ones who are attacking us, they want one thing. They want us to be sad. They won. When you are sad, I win. If you can hold on and it shows that you have simcha, and it's true simcha, that everything being shot at you, you just take it and absorb it, and it just builds you, doesn't break you. That's the key for your personal salvation, and that's the key for the general salvation of the world. This is how Rabbi Nachman teaches we're going to bring Mashiach. Ki besimcha tetzeu, through joy. Now, it's not easy. We're just talking and talking. I admit, I'm a human being. We have terrible, terrible emotions, ups and downs, especially being bombarded with negativity, especially now, and everyone's negative. So because of that, we have to work extra to be happy, meaning do things that make you happy. If learning Torah makes you happy, learn Torah. If saying Tehillah makes you happy, if going to Kibbutz Tzadikim, taking a walk to do Bodedut, putting on music, do things that make you happy. Telling jokes, we love telling jokes. That's the best thing, right? Telling jokes, being happy, especially now. And so people say, but how could you do that? Jews are being killed. Adrabah, just opposite. This is what's needed to bring in a salvation right now more than anything else, is a big super bulldozer dosage of simcha. It's it's the reverse psychology of the situation. The situation is trying to tell you, we have to be sad, we have to be mourning, we're in a state of this and that. That's not going to get us anywhere. That's going to make it worse. What's needed is to draw down positive energy. Hashem didn't wait. He did this on Simchat Torah in order to show us the test, to break your happiness, make you upside down, make you feel miserable. No, you have to work on being positive. That's the key here. And then these lost kids, that was such an example. They picked a day, 3,000 teenagers from all over Israel, from all over the world came, trying to have a good time, broken. Because now what's needed is true simcha. And the captives, the murdered, the tortured, Parshat Kitavo, all this comes upon the Jewish people because they didn't serve Hashem besimcha. Hashem's not concerned of doing the mitzvot as much as he is as the simcha doing the mitzvot. You can only get to this simcha through mitzvot. Don't think the simcha will come, okay, I'm going to be on a high and I'll be happy. No. The only simcha that is long-lasting that we're talking about is a simcha that's a byproduct of the mitzvah, of tefillin, of Shabbat, of tzedakah, trying to find drinking alcohol and girls and dancing. That's not the real simcha. That's the whole thing here. Hashem, obviously, that's what it seems from all these signs, showing us we have to work on true simcha. You can be a perfect tzaddik, getting up in the morning, davening, doing mitzvah and everything, but if you're not happy, you're in for it. You're in for it. One little bump in the road, such a person who does everything out of like Tisha B'Av attitude, always negative, and just like, he's going to fall. He's going to fall. There's no way holding on like that. The key to holding on is simcha. And we spoke many times already what to do to be simcha. Rabbi Nachman's Fabulous Five, or Rav Nosson brings down the Fabulous Five advices on being happy. Number one, telling jokes, acting silly. Yes, acting silly. Yes, making people smile, making people crack up. Number one. Number two, putting on music, singing, dancing. Like we said, in BRESLOV synagogues all over the world, it's a custom every morning and every evening after Shacharit and Arvit to dance. They grab hands, they sing a nigun to give an uplifting feeling, to get that moving. And anytime during the day also. Number three, Azamra, finding your good points. Don't look, look at you're so ugly. Look, you didn't get up. You forgot this. The opposite. I did this at least even when you say you attack yourself, your subconscious attacks you. Look at you, you're so this, you're so that, but you immediately counter, yeah, but I'm like this, I do this good, I did that. You have to counter with positivity in the thoughts. That's Azamra. Number three. Number four, giving thanks to Hashem. The more you live, the more you reach older ages, you reach 40, 50, 60, 70, the more you appreciate the miracles of life, the more you see, more than other people, the miracles of life. How many people started with you and they're no longer here? Whether physically they died or they fell off. They fell off and you're still holding on. And you ask Hashem, why me? These people were better than me, I know. And look where I am and look where they are now. And you have what to give thanks to? To give thanks. The more you get older, it's unbelievable. It's like hoda'ah is part of life. Giving thanks is mamash. As someone who's young, teenager, he doesn't appreciate to give thanks. But the older you get, older, which means to be really younger. Rabbi Nachman teaches getting older means to get younger. The older you get, the more you appreciate the favors that you have health and that you're walking and you're able to talk and think and move and do things. You're very appreciative. That's number four. And number five, what we spoke about in this class, look at the future. Look at the future. Connect now to the future. You have what to be happy about. A mitzvah is an investment forever. It's an eternal investment. You gave tzedakah 25 years ago to some guy on September 16th, 8:42 a.m. It's there forever. It's never lost. The Zohar says, remember, late re'uta tava de'itavi. There's never a good thought that's ever lost, a good gesture, a good movement that's ever lost. Okay, so we have the Fabulous Five, and this is what seems to be the message. All the many rabbis and teachers and saying, okay, we have to wake up, we have to do tshuva, and people are negative. I see the people, they're like davening with tears and sadness. But what we have to do now is work on serving Hashem b'simcha. That's what he wants. Remember one thing, Hashem loves us. These people who died on Kiddush Hashem were being tortured, whatever. In the end, it's going to be good. It's hard for me to say that, obviously, right? Obviously, I'm not in the shoes. I'm not family members. And the pain they're going through is going to be a payback. I heard once Rav Michal Dorfman, he would say a lot to me. Rav Michal Dorfman was a BRESLOV elder. He went through 7 years, Siberia, 2 years, one of the worst prisons in Moscow, in the world. And he survived as a religious Jew. And he told me when he was like 90 years old, he said, Hashem takes from here, but he gives here. That's how it is in life. That Hashem takes from here, but there's a payback. And the payback is meant to be greater than what was taken. It's hard to see that, but the person going through that can see that. The people who go through the suffering and the difficulties, they see more than anyone else, if, of course, they hold on to emunah and simcha, that Hashem is a payback, that God never lets down a person. Quoting what we say in Purim, Lehodia shekol kovecha lo yevoshu velo yikalmu lanetzach kol achosim bach. To make known the Purim miracle and all other miracles which are under Purim, by the way, to make known that all those who put their hope in Hashem, lo yavoshu, won't be put to shame. They won't say, it was a bad investment to be religious. It was a bad investment to go into BRESLOV, to keep Shabbat. They won't. Lo yavoshu, they won't be put to shame. Velo yikalmu, they won't be embarrassed eternally. Who? Kol achosim bach, all those who put their trust and they're resting on Hashem. This is so important. What's needed now, more than anything else, is simcha and emunah. You need emunah to have simcha, and you also need simcha in order to have emunah. A leads to B, B leads to A. You need both, but these are our biggest weapons right now, is simcha and emunah. And that simcha and emunah, Rabbi Nachman, Rav Nosson has a beautiful prayer. You can take a look. It's a short prayer, prayer 89 Likutey Tfilot, Rav Nosson's prayers, the 50th gate, prayer 89, where Rav Nosson says that through being happy, you can then really cry out to Hashem. You can really, if you have to do tshuva and cry out, the way to start, he says, is simcha. If you feel the simcha in your whole ramach evarim, shasagidim, your whole existence, and you have that true joy, Rabbi Nachman teaches tears, true crying, comes out of joy. Like it says, it's a verse. He brings this verse in lesson, I think it's 22 or 21, I have to remember. Beshimcha, 22. Beshimcha yegilun kol hayom. It's a verse from Psalms, Tehillim. In your name, God, Beshimcha, they will rejoice. Yegilun, rejoice all day long. Kol hayom. First letter spell out. Beshimcha bet, Yegilun yud, kol kaf, hey hayom, bechia, crying. He teaches Rabbi Nachman the essence of crying comes through joy. If you cry out of sadness, that will just lead to melancholy and depression. That will get you sick, get you lethargic, apathetic, out of things. That's not what we want. We want you to make a change in the world. That's what Hashem wants. Sorry. The tzaddikim, they want that. How do you do that? Simcha is the key. Simcha is the key to start things moving. If you don't have simcha, so you need emunah. Emunah brings the simcha, simcha brings the emunah. Whichever, but start. Keep the simcha fire burning. Don't be broken. If you see watching the news and the updates, what's happening in Gaza and everything, and it makes you, sorry for Gaza, it makes you sad and down, so don't look at it. Rav Nosson, he had a son, Rav Yitzchak, who's buried in Tzfat. Mamash, literally, literally, on the other side of the railing of the Beit Yosef. Rav Yosef Karo is here, and Rav Yitzchak, the son of Rav Nosson, is right over here, right next to him. Okay? Rav Yitzchak wrote to his father, Rav Nosson, I started learning the book Reshit Chochmah. Reshit Chochmah is a scary book because it talks about what happens to a person after death, all types of punishments for all types of sins. It's type of a Musar book. You need to have real strong shoulders to read it and not to get broken because it's the real deal. So Yitzchak told his father, Rav Nosson, I see that it's making me depressed. When I read this book, this Torah book, it's a Torah book, and I feel broken. Rav Nosson wrote back to his son like this. The author of Reshit Chochmah had no intent at all whatsoever to break you. And if now you get broken because of it, then learn something else, because that's not what he had in mind. If now something makes you sad, run away from it. Stay clear, steer from it. Don't say, yeah, but this is what's happening, it's reality. And I have to express my Jewish nationality by sharing, by looking at these things. Wrong. You got to work on being besimcha. Turn it off and work on the positivity, because that's what's going to bring an opening. That's what's going to help the soldiers, help release hostages. It's the good, positive energy drawing in. Now, just imagine, okay? Jews and people contain energy, spiritual energy. Just imagine now the tremendous negativity that there's in the whole world due to the media. Everyone's, oh my God, they're watching the news. Just imagine now how much negativity has been brought. Just forget about just what's happening in the area there. What's happening in the whole world now, due to the media, the negativity and the sadness and the worry caused. So that causes negative energy. Negative energy is that doesn't allow for bracha to come down. No bracha coming down. There's no salvation. There's no opening. So what's needed is to fight back. Yes, little me with my little joy, and you have 5 million people in the world or 500 million people who are all negative because what's happening. He teaches a rule. Rabbi Nachman, Rav Nosson goes into this. Me'at or doche harbe choshech. Your little bit of light, like a candle in a dark room. The room, a pitch black, giant soccer field or indoor gym, okay? You light a little candle, it lights up. You can see it from anywhere in the room. You can see the light in the giant room that can fit 10,000 people. You light a little candle, the whole room is lit, because that's the rule. The positivity, the good, always has the upper hand. Okay? Mida tova meruba. The measurement of good is always abundant more than the evil, from the ra. Even a little bit of good can outweigh a lot of bad. So this is what we have to work on. This is the message that's coming out. We were all hit when we all heard what happened. People were shocked. Rabbi Nachman showed us in lesson 24, Likutey Moharan, that this is an example of the keter. When now something good is in store for the people, for a person, or the world at large. So the initial meeting point of this experience is like they take the carpet from under your feet. What in the world happened? You have no idea what hit you. That's true. That's how it's supposed to be. You're hit with something where there's no rationale, there's no grasp. That's done purposely to see how you will react. Will you fall into sadness and depression and negativity? Or you will work to get back up. This can't be good. This can't be the reality. I'm not going to now live the whole next week, not going to work, not going to school, not doing anything because there's war and Jews are being killed and everything. That's not an attitude. No way. Yes, I was trying to tell you that. No way. It's a test. The person now with the carpet under the feet being just taken underneath, it's to wake you up to realize this is happening for a reason. I can't figure it out, but I have to wait a little, wait it out until things come out. And I'm not going to just make a decision. I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to be negative. I'm not going to fall into depression, because that for sure can be the real reality. There's no mitzvah in the Torah for me to be sad and depressed. To be brokenhearted is one thing, Rabbi Nachman teaches. But sadness and depression, Hashem hates. Hashem despises that. There's no mitzvah to be sad and depressed. No sad. Even on Tisha B'Av, it's a broken-hearted expression of yearning for the temple and the death of the tzaddikim, the burning of the Beit HaMikdash. We're yearning. We want it to be back because we know everything's temporary. We're yearning for things to come out. That's the whole idea. But to be sad, there's no mitzvah to be sad. Come on. So this is what seems to be happening now. What we have to take with what's happened, we have to work on not getting broken because of it. That's the main thing. Tshuva, Mashiach's coming, fine, bravo, great. Okay. Now how? Stepping stone starts with simcha. Aleph bet simcha, okay? On a side point, in BRESLOV, they teach that simcha stand for 4 devotions that can really boost your simcha. Besides the advice, the fabulous 5 we gave, there are 4 devotions that can bring you simcha. And they're hinted to in the 4 letters of simcha. Sin, which can be spelled as a shin. Mem, chet, hey. What are they? Shin, sin, shin, they're interchangeable because it's the same letter. Stands for, they say in BRESLOV, Shulchan Aruch, learning halacha, learning Torah law daily. No day in my life, not even Yom Kippur, not even Tisha B'Av, goes by without learning at least 1 or 2 halachic points, something minimal, whatever halacha book I use, whatever customs. If I'm Sephardi, Ashkenaz, Ben Ishchai, Kaf HaChaim, Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, Chaya Adam, Mishnah Berurah, Shema Shabbat Kilchata, whatever you're learning, whatever you follow by, Piskei Tshuva, whatever, 2 lines, 2 halachot, 2 little paragraphs of halacha every day. Rabbi Nachman teaches learning halacha every day is healing. It's healing. It's not just, I have to do because I'm a Jew. It's a healing process. It's for your benefit to learn halacha. What do you mean? What in the world does the laws of kasherizing vessels have to do with my emotional struggles? It has a lot to do. Because what you're going through and the frustration and the confusion is rooted in the confusion and the frustration in clarifying halacha, Torah law. So once you learn clarified law, that this is okay and this is not okay, this is permissible, this is forbidden, this is kosher, it's not kosher, that automatically has a rippled effect in what you're going through in 2023, all the way in Des Moines, Illinois, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, right? You are a repercussion of what you're going through from the halacha, learning halacha, bringing it into your head, clarified what's right, what's wrong, has a repercussion on you. That's number one, that's the shin, and that brings joy. When frustration is removed and you have clarity in life, Rav Nosson writes many times, there's no greater joy than that, when you have clarity. That's shin. Mem, going to the mikveh, this is for men, of course. Yeah. Mikveh, obviously, as much as you can, preferably daily, to go on a daily, if you can get used to going to the mikveh. The mikveh is from Lashon Tikva, hope. The mikveh, believe it or not, just going into water, under the water, it's like you are born again. The Goyim have these ideas, born again. Christian, that, baptizing, they're all rooted in the Torah, by the way. It's a Jewish idea that dunking in a mikveh, in a body of water, can change you. A convert, a ger, he is changed. He becomes a Jew by going into the mikveh. Unbelievable. Okay? If that's what a mikveh can do to a non-Jew to convert, then just imagine what it can do to a Jew himself. He went through crazy things yesterday. Okay, fresh page in life. Dunk in the mikveh, first thing. Rabbi Nachman said in Yiddish, the erste is mikveh. The first thing is mikveh. Whenever you want to start doing something, go to the mikveh first. That's why we start the day of going to the mikveh, ideally, to live in a Jewish community where there's access to a mikveh for men. That's mem. Chet stands for chatzot. A difficult devotion, but possible, depending on you, to get up at midnight, to go to bed early, so you can wake up at midnight and use those wee hours of the night to talk to Hashem, to learn Torah, to mourn over the temple, do what's called tikkun chatzot. Those are the best times. Rav Chaim Vital writes, the best hours of the day, 24 hours, Hashem gives you 24 hours in a day. The best hours are those after midnight, believe it or not. Torah study after midnight, Torah study, compared to Torah study in the morning or the afternoon, Torah study after midnight is a few hundred times greater than Torah study done during the morning, during the afternoon, whatever. During the beginning of the night for sure. After midnight is top. Getting up at chatzot, that's chet. Number hey, the hey is the fourth, hitbodedut. To set time every day to talk to Hashem. Without that, you will go nuts. You will go nuts. If you don't have time to talk to Hashem every day, you are literally already crazy, or if you stop it, you're going to become crazy. Because it's impossible to have some rationale and clarity in life without that time to talk to Hashem. Okay? You need that clarity of having this dialogue with Hashem. Number one, you're not alone. When you talk to Hashem and you're accustomed to it, you're never alone. And like the verse says in Psalms, Gam ki elech begei tzal mavet lo irara ki ata imadi. Even if I go in the valleys of death, I won't fear evil. Why? Because you're with me. And who's aware that Hashem is with me? The person who talks. Because like King David himself is saying in these words, Hashem, even I go in the valleys of death, I won't fear evil because you're with me. And he's saying these in words. It's King David's hitbodedut, his own personal prayer, which eventually became Psalms, the Tehillim. He's saying these words. So that means the secret of me not fearing evil is dialogue, expression to Hashem, talking to Hashem daily, whatever time you can put in. Rabbi Nachman suggested 60 minutes, okay? But don't go crazy. Do whatever Hashem gave you to do and build it up until you can get to that 60 minutes, but do what you can. These 4 advices, keys, are also a key for simcha in life. We should be strong in these 4. We should not let what's happening in the world to bring us down to sadness. And if it does, to know that this is coming from the Yetzer Hara, period. All right? We should be strong. This is a major test. bigger than the test of war and battle and bloodshed is the test of sadness and depression. Because someone who's alive and full of sadness and depression, a dead person happy is greater. A dead person who's happy is better than the person alive who's sad and depressed. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. The person who's alive, but he doesn't want to be alive, and he's just walking around Tisha B'Av. A dead person who died happy is greater than that alive person. That's how bad it is. That's the real battle. Don't be stupid. Don't fall into the trap of what's happening, the war, and this, and they captured that, and you get sucked in. Remember, the real battle of this is the goal is to get you to feel sad. And if it did that, they won, whoever they are. If it's the Ishmael or their angel above, the Yetzirah, Uncle Sam, Samech Mem, whoever it is who's above there, that's what they want. That's the domino effect that they want to get to. Thank you, we won. You're down, you're depressed. And that's what's happening, unfortunately. Thanks to the media, bravo media. It did such a good job in making people sad and depressed. But Mida Tova Meruba. We'll use the same media, Mine Ube, Abba Nezer. It's an expression. I'm trying to remember it off by heart. Mine Ube, An Nezer Benarge. From within it itself, we will bring it down. We solve the solution from the evil, the problem itself. We solve it from within it itself. We will use the internet to give positivity, to give shirim, classes on Rabbi Nachman's teachings, which is just 100% simcha. What's his name? Rabbi Nachman ben Simcha. His father was Simcha, and he's called Rabbi Nachman ben Simcha because he's the one who teaches us how to be b'simcha and with what and through all the challenges. So be strong, everybody. Don't crack from the pressure of what's happening. Even you guys in the diaspora, it's like fresh news. So we had the first day yesterday. So we were hit and we were, like we say in French, bouleversé, so upside down yesterday. We took our turn yesterday here in the Holy Land. And you guys are now, after your second Yom Tov, are seeing what we saw, going through the crazy things and on a far level, yes. Not to fall into the trap, to be b'simcha b'ezat Hashem. All right, thank you for joining. Questions we can have afterwards because we need koach for that. So you can send WhatsApp or email if you have any comments or questions. All the best, everybody, and shalom, shalom. Thank you for joining.